Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to be looking at children's poems that have a lot more going on under the surface than one might expect. And before we get into it, if you love creepypastas, make sure you subscribe so you never miss another upload. Also, feel free to join our community for all things horror. First up, we have to look at an old nursery rhyme called Ring Around the Rosie. It's been popular for hundreds of years and has variations in many different countries. But by far the most popular version is simply Ring Around the Rosie. Pocket full of posy, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. Now, despite being centuries old, the rhyme itself is incredibly simple, leading many to believe that it was adapted from even older traditions which were ultimately lost to time. The first line, Ring Around the Rosie, could refer to the ring of flowers that children would often make during pagan festivals. In fact, there are still similar traditions in modern times, like making flower chains or flower crowns. The second line, Pocket full of posy, simply means that they would carry these flowers in their pockets as a form of fragrance and as a way of adding some cheer to their day. This would also make sense considering that posy is an archaic word for a small bunch of flowers. However, things start to get dark when we reach the third line, which says, ashes, ashes. There are many who believe that this refers to the cremated remains of a person or persons, hence, they all fall down afterwards. While other people believe that it's about burning crops or even witches being burned at the stake. These theories are rather morbid but are supported by the fact that the plague was raging Europe at the same time that the poem was created. Some historians even speculate that the whole poem was talking about the Black Death and how the victims would go down in history. Moving on, let's take a look at another well-known children's rhyme. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Like Ring Around the Rosie, this one has been around for quite a while. It was first published in 1797 in a collection of nursery rhymes. But similar stories were already circulating prior to this date, such as the Welsh tale of Gwenllian and the giant. It doesn't really seem like the poem is hiding anything, right? Well, the answer is both yes and no. Depending on how you interpret the poem, the lines about the king's horses and men can be seen as symbolic representations of medical professionals. To start, Humpty Dumpty is obviously broken and needs medical attention. Then when the doctors and surgeons can't fix him, the line all the king's horses and all the king's men could refer to those who perform autopsies. After the body is dead, they would dissect it to try and determine what caused the death and how to prevent it from happening again. So in a sense, you could say that Humpty Dumpty was murdered by his own doctors because they wanted to learn more about the human body. Now, of course, this is just one interpretation of the poem and it's not necessarily the author's true intent. It's more than likely that it was just a random nursery rhyme designed to teach kids about greed and the dangers of climbing high places. Next, let's look at London Bridge is Falling Down. This is yet another traditional folk song that's been passed down through generations. It dates back to at least the 18th century and is said to have originated from a real-life incident where the London Bridge collapsed and several people drowned. The lyrics are pretty straightforward. London Bridge is falling down, falling down. Falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my very good and gracious Lord. The Mayor of London came walking by, came walking by. The Mayor of London came walking by, and he took a very sad and sorry sight. So then why do I find this song to be creepy? Well, I mean, come on. The entire song is basically about how a structure that millions of people use every single day is slowly deteriorating and will eventually collapse and kill several people. If that isn't something that keeps you up at night, then I don't know what is. Some people claim that the song was actually about the destruction of the original London Bridge, but that isn't entirely correct. It was more so about the construction of a new London Bridge, which began in 1826. As the old bridge was being torn down, many parts of it collapsed, which tragically killed two of the workmen. This event inspired an updated version of the song, which has become much more famous. So in reality, the song isn't really supposed to be creepy, but instead serves as a reminder of the dangers of construction and the importance of safety regulations. Now moving on, we have to look at Rock-a-bye Baby on the Treetop. When the bow breaks, the cradle will fall, and down will come baby, oh so low, that when the dish ran away with the spoon, little Jack Horner wouldn't have his afternoon. This one may be familiar to many of you as it appears in the movie Coraline and was featured in the Lego movie. It's a rather simple song with even simpler lyrics. However, if you listen closely, you'll notice that everything is going wrong. The branch is going to break, the cradle will fall, and Jack won't have any dinner. All of this is clearly foreshadowing a tragic accident. But that's not the worst part. Remember how I said that, when the dish ran away with the spoon, little Jack Horner wouldn't have his afternoon? Well, there are many theories out there about what exactly this means, and none of them are good. Some people say that the dish and the spoon represent Jack's parents, meaning that they've run away and left him alone. Others say that it means Jack has been abandoned and is now homeless. But perhaps the most disturbing theory is that Jack's parents have actually died and are being represented by kitchen utensils. While it's hard to say whether or not any of these theories are true, it's safe to say that this lullaby is definitely hiding something sinister under its playful lyrics. Finally, we have to look at three blind mice. Three blind mice. Three blind mice. See how they run. They'd run, and they'd run, and they'd run to the farmer's wife. Oh, oh, oh. The farmer's wife. The farmer's wife. She cut off their tails with a carving knife. Oh, oh. Then they all did cry. They all did cry. They all did cry, and ran away as fast as they could. Oh, oh, oh. This gruesome rhyme has been popular in England since at least the 1700s, although similar tales can be found dating back to ancient Greece. The story goes that the three blind mice represent King Charles I and two of his sons, who were all beheaded during the English Revolution. However, this is only a legend, and there is no proof to support it. In reality, the poem was likely written as an anti-monarchy propaganda piece designed to insult King Charles I and urge people to rebel against him. The line, "She cut off their tails with a carving knife," is a metaphor for how the king and his sons lost their heads. Afterwards, they ran away as fast as they could, which could refer to their souls fleeing to heaven. So as you can see, some of these poems are more cryptic than others. Some of them are violent, and some have a bit of both. But regardless of what they mean, one thing is certain: you probably won't be singing these anytime soon. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe so you never miss another upload. If you want to watch more of my content, you can do so here. I'll see you next time.